G'day guys, it's Mark here from North Oz, and in today's video we're going to be doing a detailed walk around of my 2023 Toyota Hilux Rogue. So like I said, this is going to be a detailed walk around, so if there's something in particular you came here for, I'm going to put chapters at the bottom of this video, so feel free to use that. Otherwise, I'm going to turn around the camera and let's get stuck into it. So starting with the key, we've got three buttons: lock, unlock, and also an alarm button. So when you unlock it, there's a little bit of a delay for the rear because it also has central locking for the rear tub as well. So I'll unlock it so you can hear it. So that little delay unlock just means that that rear tub is now fully accessible, and when you lock it, it does the exact same thing. So we'll start making our way around the vehicle now. You can see that we've got these pumped out guards, and boy, do they look good. I really like the look of those. Gives it a very aggressive look. And we've also got these mudguards here that have also been extended, so they're not standard on a Hilux, because obviously that's where the typical SR5 and all the other variants, that's where the body ends. So an extended mudguard was needed there. So interestingly, in the back here, yes, we do have a mudguard here, which is quite significant because it needs to cover quite a lot of that tire poke. But on the front here, you can see that we've got quite a lot of poke here. And that's obviously where the standard Hilux tub finishes. And, you know, obviously this is where the mudguard ends here for the Rogue. But if you have a look here, that could create quite a bit of problems if you're talking about rock chips and that. But Toyota actually did think about this, and this is something that no one has talked about as far as I can tell on a lot of the reviews and a lot of the walkarounds, that there is this PPF film here. You can kind of see the seam there in the light, and that covers from here all the way down to here. And I'm sure that's going to be plenty to prevent rock chips and that. However, if you do have a look here on the side of the cab, you see it does kind of stick out a little bit here. So some rock chips and that might be a bit of a problem. And I am looking into a PPF, so looking at doing a paint protection film on this vehicle just to prevent things like rock chips and that kicking up on the side here. So both the front and the rear track, so that's the axles, have been actually extended by 140 millimeters, which is quite significant. Now, that means a couple of things when we're looking at the suspension. I'll see if I can get a little bit of a shot there for you. In terms of what that means for the suspension, they've actually moved the dampers in the rear anyway closer to the wheel sides, so it moves a little bit further away from the center line of the body. It also means for the front that they've had to change the control arms, I believe. They didn't go into too much details from what I read about what that involves, but they have lengthened the control arms to suit the lengthened axles. So while they're at it with the suspension, they ended up increasing the ride height of this vehicle by 20 millimeters higher than what the standard SR5 and what the previous Rogue model was before this. Having a look at the front brakes, and the front caliper is a 4-cylinder unit. It also has 17-inch ventilated disc brakes. And interestingly, the rear also has, it's only got a 1-cylinder caliper in the back here, and you can see that the brakes are significantly smaller, but it is ventilated disc brakes, which is very important because this is the very first time that Toyota has put disc brakes on one of their utes. So while we're still on the topic of suspension and brakes, the front stabilizer bar has been extended to match up with the extended axle length and, you know, all the other suspension upgrades. Also in the rear, which is something that's new, is there is a rear stabilizer bar as well. Now, Toyota state that with all of the suspension upgrades, there has been an increased rigidity of 20% on the 2023 Rogue. So in regards to more technical specifications for all you guys out there that are wondering what the numbers are, this is a 1GD FTV engine, which means that it's a direct injected high pressure common rail diesel. Not only that, but it puts out 150 kilowatts and 500 Newton meters of torque. It's the same engine that was in my 2021 Prado, and that's my dad's 2022 Prado over there. And yeah, it puts out good power. I feel like the power in this is a lot better in the Hilux than it is in the Prado because it's got less weight that's pushing around. But yeah, so for me, I'm having no issues with the power at the moment. In fact, I think it's more than sufficient for my needs. Now, when I purchased this vehicle, I did option it with the genuine Toyota Snorkel, which I think actually looks really good. You can see there's a nice little pattern in there, little honeycomb pattern. Hopefully you guys can see that. Not sure if you can or not. But Nice little pattern in there. Listen, it looks good. I think it makes it look pretty tough. Yeah, you can go with a Safari Snorkel or anything like that. At the end of the day, they do the same thing. You can see where it kind of enters in through there, through the side and into the airbox. I haven't done any tests to see if it is water sealed yet. I'll go through and have a bit of a look at that and make sure that the whole unit is water sealed before I start doing any crazy river crossings or anything like that. But just so you guys know, that doesn't come standard on the 2023 Rogue. You have to purchase that as an option. And it's, you know, I'll have a look and see how much it was. It was something like $700 fitted. So listen, I'm not going to complain about that at the end of the day. I think that's pretty good value for money. At the end of the day, I don't need to worry about warranty and stuff. If this fails, I can just take it back to Toyota and let them sort it out. With all those technical specifications out of the way, let's go around and have a little bit of a look at this 2023 Rogue. We'll have a look at some of the features around the outside, what you're kind of getting, what stands out as well, what are some little extra features that you get. So the number one thing that, I see as well is these wheels. So, on camera, they don't look that great. On camera, they look like that they're a bit too small for the vehicle. And on some angles, you're right. That gap here is quite significant, which, it's not a terrible thing, but I think it could be better. I definitely could be putting a bigger set of wheels and tires on here, especially with how much room we've got here with these extended arches. But having a look at these wheels here, you'll see from memory, they're a 265/60 R18. There you go, yep, you can see that there. And they come standard with the Grand Trek PT22s, which I believe came with my Prado, and they're pretty much like a highway terrain tire. Listen, you're mostly doing 95% highway with these tires, and they'll give you good fuel economy, but not much off-road, although I have taken these in some pretty sketchy situations in my Prado. But yeah, going around, you can see that these wheels are a nice little black and kind of gunmetal facing. So it's black on the sides here. It's a little bit dusty. We've got black on the sides here, and we've got this gunmetal sort of color there, which kind of looks silver in some lights, and it kind of looks black in others. So an interesting wheel, and I actually really like those wheels. So Toyota, well done. You've done a good job on those wheels. I think they look pretty cool. So moving around to the front, you can see we've got these fog lights here, and there's this trimming all over the vehicle. There's these two sorts of different colors of trimming. We've got this kind of, I don't know, it's like an unfinished sort of, I don't know, it's a strange matte sort of a finish, and it is kind of like a body panel sort of a material. So it's not really like a rubber mudguard, if you're wondering. It's more like an actual like plastic body panel. It just hasn't been finished in the gloss. And then you move around to some other parts of the vehicle, and it's been finished in this nice clear coat, but it's also, I'll see if I can catch the light on it, but it's also got a metallic fleck in it. So when we walk around the vehicle, you'll be able to see that, there's this trim, this different color trim here. And it is a nice color, but I'm not quite sure why they didn't just kind of keep it all the same sort of color. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And, I think it looks still pretty cool. So we've got our fog lights here, got our headlights there, same sort of ones that, they use in all the SR5s and that. However, I am told by, from looking up tech specs, that this Hilux 2023 Rogue is bigger, it is longer than the Hilux SR5 and the previous Rogue. I have a feeling it's got something to do with this here. They did say it's longer in the front bumper, so I'm not sure why that is. I think it might have something to do with the increased suspension, improving that, but it could also be due to the Panoramic, which we'll talk about later on. The Panoramic 360-degree camera. Maybe they needed that extra room. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it is a longer vehicle than the standard SR5 Hilux and the previous Rogue model. And it is finished again in the same kind of pattern as what's on the fenders. So it's that kind of unfinished sort of a matte. And, whether it's hard wearing or not, I'm not sure. I'll be doing significant testing off-road anyway, so I'll let you guys know. And then it's got this different sort of color trimming, that one that you found around the fog lights around. But it kind of gives it a nice little bit of a two-tone sort of a look. Gives it a bit more of a premium look, I feel. So moving around the vehicle, you can kind of tell it's got that same sort of over fender material is on the side view mirrors as well. And it's also on the door handle. We've got an unlock and lock button here, so it's not proximity censored like my Prado was. And we'll jump on the roof here. Ooh. And you can see it's got this shark fin antenna, which is actually pretty schmick. I think it did a good job on that. Looks pretty cool. Keeps it nice and nice and streamlined looking. You know, it doesn't look like my WRX does, where it's got kind of like it's a radio control car. And then here is the back shot of it here. So you can tell on the back here, this all comes standard as well. So it's got front sensors on it too. It's also got these rear sensors here as well for backing up, and also for rear cross traffic alerts. So whatever that is, RCTA, it says on the owner's manual, and also on the multimedia screen, which we'll show you a little bit later on when we do the interior walk around. And all this comes stock from Toyota, from the factory. So we've got the factory hitch and also your pin plug there as well. The exhaust looks a little bit different to my Prado did. It kind of looks a little bit more stainless steelish-y. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a bit more hard wearing, but we'll see. You can also see here that we've got a max towing capacity of 3,500 kilograms, which is again a bit more than my Prado was. And going around here to the back, which will open up in a second, you can kind of see that we've got this nice, again, kind of different finishes again. We've got that same sort of finish that's around the fog light surrounds, and then we've also got a lighter finish as well, which again is, I don't know, it's metallic again in color, but slightly different colors. So we've got a few different colors on this vehicle, trying to obviously bring attention to certain aspects of the styling. But obviously that Rogue, you know, badging on the side is what Toyota were trying to get at there. And then we've got this rear tonneau cover here, which is a roller track system, and it's got buttons on right and also the left. So it's got up and back buttons. So we'll have a look at that in a second. We've also got this rear facing camera here as well. So that's excellent for obviously backing up, and that helps out with trying to park this thing, because it is actually a significantly big vehicle. It's quite impressive. All right, let's have a look at the back. So to move this roller track cover up, you just press basically the up button. So you press that, and it's got that on both sides, which I didn't know. In a lot of the reviews, they only did it from the one side and they didn't say that, but it does have access from this side and also from this side, which is very handy. So you click it. Now, a lot of people say this thing's noisy. I don't find it noisy. I think people just find things to complain about sometimes. And then also here, we've got that tailgate, which weighs quite a bit when you've got a camera in one hand. And you can see we've got this bed rug here. Now, this does not have any branding on it, this bed rug. And this copped, listen, I reckon when I was looking through the review videos for this car, I think about 80% of people said negative things about this, but a lot of people actually spend good money to have this sort of material put in the back of their utes, because it does protect it. I mean, you can say what you want about, you know, ute liners and whatever you want, but at the end of the day, this is actually a very viable product to put in the back of your vehicle. Now, it doesn't have any branding on it. However, I believe with this here is a bit of a giveaway. I believe this is a bed rug branded situation here, and that has got a lot of benefits to it, such as you can look it up on YouTube for some demonstrations, but you know, it can prevent things like oil from sticking to it, all sorts of things. So there's a couple of cool demonstrations online about it, so check it out if you like. But I feel like this is actually a really good system, and people are like, oh, it's stuck in there, what are you going to do with it? Listen, the thing's really light. You can just pull it up like that, and it's only held in with Velcro. So if you want to get that removed and put your own bed liner in there, do whatever you like. You know, it's only held on with Velcro anyway. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal in my opinion, but I actually really like this, and it stops a lot of things from sliding around, and, you know, it won't bang and rattle. And it also does provide, so far anyway, a little bit more protection from things like dust. So it does seal it up just a little bit better, but it isn't completely sealed. As you can see, there is a bit of water sitting there because we've had a whole pile of rain, and when that roller track goes up, it kind of dumps some water down too. So yeah, you know, it's not completely sealed with this bed rug in there, but it is an excellent option if you want to protect your rear tray. Now, as I was talking, you guys probably saw these pretty cool lights here, and they are an interesting light. So they've got 3 settings. They've got off, so you can keep them completely off. You've got an automatic, so as you press the roller button, which is what I'll do right now, they turn on. I'm going to move that roller back, and you can stop that roller at any point if you like as well. Put it back there. And it's also got an on button. So if you're camping and you want to cook up some food on the back here, on the back tailgate, if you click this button again, it will actually put it into an on function, which means that you get the lights on, or whichever one you want. You can just go one light if you want. You can go one light on for 20 minutes and then it will turn off after 20 minutes. So I think that's a pretty cool function. And these lights at nighttime are really, really bright. So I think that's a pretty cool little setup that Toyota put in there. So well done, Toyota. I like that very much. In the back, you can see we've got a 12-volt output here. So, and it does have one of those four-wheel drive-esque sort of turn and lock situations, so your cigarette accessory, plug thing won't wiggle loose. So that's a nice little touch. But it also puts out, which is what I found to be interesting, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it puts out 15 amps, which is pretty impressive. So that means I'll be able to run my fridge in that while I'm driving, and until I get my dual battery system installed, which will be done very soon. Now, this is an interesting plug. When I was reading through the owner's manual for this, which is quite extensive, it's got a lot in there. It actually puts out 12 volt, 15 amp. It does that, but it also does it when the vehicle is off. So you're probably thinking, well, won't it flatten the battery? Now, it said, and I haven't tested this, but it said on the owner's manual that it will run at 15 amp, 12 volt. It will supply constant power until the battery reaches a certain level, which I assume is 12 volts or lower. So that will probably run your lights and things like that for a few hours once you get to your campsite, and then it will just switch off automatically, which I think is a pretty cool thing. No one really said that in any of the reviews, so I'm saying that here and I'm saying it now because I think that that's actually a pretty cool little accessory, that, and not many people would know about that. Now, yes, the tie downs in this Hilux are not plentiful. There's only two. There's one there and one there, which is not good for comparisons with things like Rangers, which I will be doing comparison videos on later on, why I bought this over a Ford Ranger and an Amarok, for example. But there are only two tie downs in here, but I am going to be working on installing some more tie downs anyway. Even if I had two more in the back, that still wouldn't have been enough for me anyway. So for me, it's not that big of a deal. I'll be putting in some sort of L-track system in the back here, just so I can tie down things like my fridge and that. But yeah, definitely will be installing some more tie downs very shortly. And again, to shut it, you just press that button there and you'll see the track shutting. And no, that's not the sound of the track, that's my neighbor banging something. So there you go. And you'll also see as well here that trimming continues all the way around the side here. That nice sort of graphite, metallic-y sort of a color. So I like it, looks good. You can also see Toyota's attempt to do a little bit of sealing as well, just to prevent as much dust and rain from coming in as possible. But obviously, being a ute, that is going to be a problem. While we're talking about the exterior of the vehicle, we do have blind spot monitoring on this vehicle as well, which is very handy. I didn't have that on my 2021 Prado. They only introduced that in the 2022. It also has a camera here as well for the panoramic view, which I'll show you very shortly. And it's also got a puddle lamp, they call it, which couldn't sound any worse if they tried, but it is a little light that just shines down onto the ground, which just lets you know where any holes and stuff are, just in case. Good for snakes and stuff, I suppose, when we're out camping. But yeah, it would have been nice if they maybe had a little bit of a projection going, because I know on my mum's CHR, there is like a projection that shoots down a light and it says CHR. So they probably could have done something pretty cool with that, but still cool to have. I won't be whingy. I think it's still a good little feature that they included. Now, while we're still on the outside of the vehicle, you can see the significant tinting that I've had done here. So it does have 35% tint on the sides here, and also in the rear, it's got a 75% tint, which to me looks a little bit darker than 75%, but yeah, it looks pretty good either way. I think it looks pretty good, and it should keep the vehicle a little bit cooler than what it would be with a lighter tint. So moving to the interior of the vehicle now, and this is your first look at it, and you can see lots of black, which I really like. I said this in my first video that I made on this vehicle, and I love the fact that they've just gone black everything on this vehicle. All the trimmings, everything, it's all black or a certain black chrome or something, and I think it looks awesome. So let's get in, have a bit of a look at some of the individual details. It's a bit of a humid day today, so what we'll do is we'll start up the vehicle, get some air conditioning on, and I'll also be able to show you this pretty cool little video that shows up here on the center screen. So you see a nice little video there, nice little animation, a bit gimmicky, but again, my Prado did the same sort of thing, and you know, it's just something little when you turn the car on, makes it a little bit more special. You can see here we've got just, thankfully, just normal dials, normal gauges here. You can see what you need to in an instant. You've got your fuel there, you've got your speedometer there, and you've got your center information screen. You've also got your revs, and then you've got your cold or hot, how are you going with the temperature. You know, I think that this is a perfect setup. I wouldn't want it any other way, and I will be doing a video in the very near future about why I selected this vehicle over the Ranger, and this has a lot to play. This has a lot to do with why I purchased this vehicle, but I won't go into those details just yet. You guys are going to have to subscribe to see that next video coming up. Now you can see here in the middle as well, it's got these nice little honeycomb pattern, which is kind of cool, I guess, because it matches my Snorkel, but it's got a nice little honeycomb pattern there, which I think is pretty cool. Looking around the cabin now, you can kind of see that, you know, there really isn't too much different. Compare this to, say, the SR5 in terms of dimensions and stuff. You're not getting a bigger cab, you're not getting, you know, a bigger center console. What you are getting though is the different trim. So you are getting, you know, the black roof, for example, which I think is absolutely clutch. I love this a lot. I really like the black roof, because when I was camping and when you got a lot of bugs around, they get stuck on the roof, and then when you get them off, they leave behind, you know, that kind of dark sort of color that they love to leave behind, and that won't stain on here. So I think that that is an excellent color to have on the roof. And it's also got black matching handles as well, and black A-pillars, which drove me nuts on my Prado, because it'd always be like this cream color just starting here, and it would all be black here, and that always bothered me, because it's like, why wouldn't they just match the color of the A-pillars and of the pillars and the roof to the dashboard? It never made sense to me, but I'm very glad that they kind of have this nice continued color scheme going throughout the vehicle. I think it looks excellent. Now, when we have a look around here, around the sides of the vehicle here, we've got, again, this kind of, I don't know what it is, you know, it's again, just another weird sort of texture that Toyota have thrown into the vehicle. It's kind of like a wood grain, but it's like a aluminium brushed wood grain thing. I don't know. It's matte to the touch anyway. It's a bit strange, but you know, they kind of put it on here as well. I think it kind of matches the vehicle. I don't know, it doesn't stand out, put it that way, if you're not looking for it. And there's also these trimmings here as well, and that's on a couple of things which I'll show you, but it's on here, and that's a metallic sort of a gunmetal or color. Not sure if that's showing up on the screen, but that's kind of like a gunmetal sort of a metallic-y sort of a color, and that is on a few things. That's on this trim piece here, and it's also on these little trim pieces here and here. And then we've got this different, again, a different color. It's like a black chrome that goes here and there and runs the length of the dash. We've also got this kind of, I don't know what it is. It's similar to this, but it's not the same. It's a surround on the gear selector lever as well on the gear knob. So I don't know, looks okay, looks good. Not too fussy about it, but whatever, it looks all right. When you're looking around the interior, you know, it all blends in nicely, which is the most important thing. Now, a couple of things on the interior of this vehicle is, yes, there is an SOS button up here. You guys probably saw that before. I'm not going to press it, but that is part of Toyota's safety system. So if you have a crash, depending on the different levels of the crash, it will automatically call the correct services to get you out of trouble. So, and you can, I believe you can press it. I'm not going to try it. I'll have to look into it more, but I believe you can press that and it will call up the SOS button for you and will get you the help that you need if you are in an accident. But that's just part of Toyota's new safety systems that they're bringing into all of their vehicles, which is something that, again, wasn't in the other reviews. In the front here, we've got generous numbers of 12-volt outputs here. Looks good. We've also got your high 2, high 4, and low 4 selection there. We've also got our buttons, which are excellent. Buttons and knobs, so you'll be able to decrease the fan speed there, increase it. You got your demisters, all that sort of stuff, your circulation, and you've also got changing the temperature with knobs, which I love. The Prado went away with those, did away with them, and they obviously still have them on the Hilux, which I really like. Knobs are the way to go. Car manufacturers out there, stop putting things on buttons, put them on knobs, because that is the ultimate. That is the ultimate way to change and select things, especially when you're off-road. You don't want to be stuffing around with buttons. I can handle increasing and decreasing fan speed with buttons, that's fine, but what I can't handle is also changing things like temperatures and that with buttons. So well done, Toyota, on putting knobs in there and keeping them there. Excellent work. We've got cup holders here, excellent size. That's big enough for your phone. Whatever size phone you have, I'm sure will be big enough for it. It's also got your CarPlay USB here. So often, like if I'm on a longer road trip, what I'll do is I'll plug in my USB into there and then charge up my phone, and I'll also get the CarPlay functions, and the phone will just live there. We've got our rear diff lock, traction control, and we've also got your hill descent as well. We've also got our heaters as well, so our seat heaters left and right. No ventilated in these seats, but they are heated, so you know, when we start doing some of the colder trips that I've got planned, that I'm sure will come in very handy. So continuing around the interior, we've got still just the old basic kind of automatic selector there, which is fine by me. I like that very much. We've got your eco and power modes. You know, use them, don't use them. Who really cares? I'm probably not going to touch them. And we've also got this little nice little center slot here, which you can put different various things in there. Of course, I'll probably just put my key, and that's about it. I'll definitely be going crazy like I did with my last vehicle with putting non-slip mat everywhere. Now in here, in the center console, which is actually a very nice center console, I was a little bit worried that it wouldn't be wide enough, wouldn't be big enough, but at the end of the day, you know, it's plenty enough for me, because I'm the one that spends most of the time in here by myself, so it's plenty enough for me, just chucking my arm there. It's actually a very ergonomic armrest. I like it a lot, and it's very soft as well. I would say it's even softer than what the Prado one offers, because the Prado kind of has like a bit of a soft plastic, but this is a nice little leather situation going on here, and the stitching matches the seats and, you know, and of course the steering wheel and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a nice center console there. I like that a lot. When you open it up, you've got just your basic lever to open it. No extra little sections there like the Prado used to have, unfortunately, but that's okay. I'm going to be doing a Prado and also Fortuner comparison with this, so stay tuned for that. We've got Fortuners and Prados in our North Oz fleet, with my family members owning all of them, and we've also got that doesn't come with the vehicle, of course. That's just my trauma pack. I always keep first aid kits handy all around the vehicle. So that's kind of my go-to little trauma pack there. And then in here, we've also got your 100 watt 240 outlet, or whatever it is. It basically has a household plug, so you can plug whatever you want into there. So again, pretty cool. I like it. Looks good. It's big enough just to fit my trauma pack, and that's good enough for me, because I'm not going to be putting anything else in there anyway. So continuing around the interior, there's still a lot more to show. You can see we've got these Hilux floor mats. They're a carpeted mat. Yeah, these are going to go pretty soon. Listen, a lot of sand's going to get caught up in that, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to get some rubber mats, which I've already ordered, so hopefully they'll be a little bit easier to clean than what these will be. Around the car, it's a little bit hard to see because it is daytime, so what I'll do is I'm just going to decrease the exposure here so you guys can hopefully see these blue LEDs that run along the bottom here. I'll see if that's helped at all, but there you go. You can see them in the back there. It's a nice little LED trimming all around the vehicle, which is, I think, a really nice little touch. It's in the front as well. It's a bit brighter in the front here, so it's a bit harder to tell, but yeah, nice little touch there from Toyota. And in both of the front doors, you've got your mat pocket there. You've also got a water bottle holder there too. So I've got a little bit of a standard 500 milliliter bottle here sitting in there, which has plenty of room. So that's enough for your standard 600 ml bottle. And again, a little mat pocket there for whatever you need to store. So on the side here, we've got a nice soft armrest. You've got automatic windows here, and they're also automatically controlled individually. on each of the windows too, and each of the doors. And you've also got a lock and unlock, which I'm very happy about because that makes things a lot easier. You also got a window lock and unlock too. You've obviously got your left and right side view mirror adjustments, and then you've also got a kind of automatic, I suppose, automatic folding mirrors. You know, handy for when you're doing tight tracks. You know, I've done that on my Prado before where I fold them in, but it would have been good if they had that on an automatic as well, because on the 2022 Prado and upwards, they've put that as automatic. There's an A function in the middle, so when you lock it, it automatically, you know, shuts the side view mirrors. So would have been good if they did that, but yeah, if you click it, they fold in very quickly. So, you know, does the job. There isn't really much to tell about the media system, but what you can see is that it is a little bit lower than what it was on my Prado. For those of you that followed me along for that build, you can see it does sit down a little bit more. I explained that in the first video, but I wasn't able to show it because I was obviously driving, and I was also very excited as well. Just wanted to get that video out because it was a lot of fun. But yeah, you can see it's a little bit low. It's also, I believe, a little bit smaller than the Prado, and it's a lot smaller than its competitors, which again, may seem like a bad thing, but I'm going to tell you why it's actually a good thing in a future video. Moving around to the side here, you've got a Hilux branded button. You click that and that will pop open, and you've got a little bit of an aircon vent in there as well to keep that section nice and cool. Maybe you're carrying medications or something like that, needs to be cool, you can chuck it in there. And then in here as well, in the glove box in your main compartment, you've got your fat stack of, you know, of all the owner's manuals that this thing comes with. You've also got little speakers up here, little speaker there. You got a speaker down there too. And there is also a speaker in the door for your passengers so they can listen to you doof doof. Now on your side switch panels, there is a blank switch there, which I will definitely be using for lights. But yeah, in terms of other things, you've got your idle up, that's for cold conditions. You got your parking proximity sensors, you got your blind spot monitoring, you got your manual DPF, and now we're going to have a look at that panoramic camera, which has been quite talked about, and I've been pretty excited about this thing too. So let's have a look and see what that actually does. I'm gonna go ahead now and push the panoramic view button. Let's see what it does. So I'll click that, and automatically it has switched the screen to this. And you'll be able to see that we've got a front camera there. You can also see where you are 360 degree styles there in your park. So you can see my WRX there on the right. You can see my mum's car on the front. And then you can also see all that space behind you on the driveway. And if you click through the buttons, so I'm going to start clicking through some buttons now. So check this out. So click on this. And then you can see underneath the side view mirrors. So in case, I don't know, maybe you're trying to get into the lines, which I'm having a lot of troubles trying to park this vehicle. It's a little bit different in dimensions to my Prado, so that's quite helpful. There's a couple of buttons here that do a couple of different things. I believe this one here tells you the direction and the track that you can go. So that's that first one. And then you've also got an auto button there, which I don't know what it does yet, so I'll have to look at that. But I believe it will probably do something like brings your attention to something that's beeping. I'm not sure that's something that's close. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that one. That's pretty much the only thing that I don't know what this vehicle does at the moment. One thing I really like about this unit is I'm going to open up the door, and I'm going to turn it off. Check this out. And you hear how there's no beeping? That is very rare in a lot of vehicles these days. They just beep and beep and beep. So I'm very happy about that. And they beep and beep and beep until you get out of the car. So very impressed with that. Again, well done, Toyota. Now looking in the back here, I've just got a couple of boxes down there. That's for the genuine hitch there and for the tow ball and that. But if I get in here, let's see if I can get in. Now, you guys are probably wondering if there's much room in here, and I'll see if I can get a bit of a view for you guys, but let's see if I can get a view going on here. But there is plenty of room in here. For me, you've probably got, I don't know, maybe another 5 centimeters or so of headroom, and then in terms of legroom, that's where I sit. That's my seating position, so you'll comfortably be able to sit at least another person on the side there anyway. That is around 6 foot, so you know, very helpful for, you know, if you're trying to fit your mates in here and go places. There is plenty of room in here, and anyone who says that it's all cramped up, it's like, well, I'm not taking a family around all the time anyway. So for me, this is plenty of room. While we're chilling here in the back, there's a couple of things I want to draw your attention to. Obviously, we've got this floor mat that came with the vehicle. We've also got these kind of shopping bag holders, I think they are. And you can put obviously anything on there that you like. They have a 4 kilo weight limit, and also too we've got map holders as well in the back, the little map pockets. We've also got in the back here leather seats, which is pretty good. Obviously each one has their own window up and down. We've also got here some hooks, obviously for things like uniforms or whatever it is that you're carrying with you that you don't want to be crinkled, but obviously that's going to be blocking the rear window, so not particularly smart on that one, Toyota. Probably would have made more sense to have it over here, but I can see why they wouldn't do that, because it would probably get creased because it's only a small back area. So I suppose that's why they did that. Okay, now to get into this little back area here, there is an under seat section. So we've got all your tools and stuff are under there, so that's all your jack and that, so that's fine. I won't be touching that. That'll stay exactly how it is. But under here is an empty spot where you can put whatever you like, and it fits a king chrome tool roll there very easily. So I'll probably put maybe a couple other things in there as well, maybe like a little towel or something like that, which could come in very handy for, you know, just when we're out and about doing stuff. So I think that'll be pretty good. But yeah, nice little handy under seat storage there, and very light as well. I thought that would be quite heavy, but it isn't, and it just clips down like that. And something I have to say about these seats while we're here is that they are just so comfortable. I will be able to do many hours in these seats, I think, and my passengers as well will be very comfortable. I really like the seating position of the Hilux. The way it sits up on top of the chassis, I think, is an excellent seating position, and I'm going to show you what makes this seat so comfortable in a second. So down here we've got our electric adjustable seat, and you can adjust the bottom section and go up or down. You can move the seat forward and back, and you can also move this rear section as well, going forward and back as well. So plenty of adjustments for height, and also this the thigh support as well, which is something that my Prado was definitely missing. The rear view mirror also has auto dimming as well, which is a nice little feature. So, you know, people aren't coming up behind you and blinding you. So just again, a nice little feature that Toyota have included. And of course, I'm not going to go into every single detail that this car has, although I've done my very best today to do that. But it does have things like radar cruise control, you know, sign reading, speed sign reading, all that sort of stuff. So it tells you when you're speeding, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, pretty handy. It's also got on the front here, you know, your answer calls, hang up calls, you know, your basic stuff that you need. Obviously, you've got your lane departure assist, which I often don't like. I haven't tested this one out yet. I just turned it off straight away, but I will be testing that to see if it's better than the Prado, because the Prado one uses the braking to keep you in the lane, and I don't like the way that makes the car feel. So I will be testing that one out to see if it does steering wheel or if it does brake correction. So stay tuned for that one. I'll let you know how that one goes. But yeah, in general, guys, very nice vehicle. So let's conclude this video, and we'll talk about what you would like to know next. So guys, that concludes today's detailed walk around of my brand new 2023 Hilux Rogue. I'm very excited about this vehicle. I haven't racked up too many kilometers on it yet because unfortunately I got sick. So I've just started driving it again. I'm really happy with it. It's absolutely made my day driving this for the last couple of days. So taking it camping very shortly as well. I'm going to be doing about a 5-day trip with Ginger and my parents as well. So that's going to be a good time too. So I'm going to be filming all of that, telling you how it goes on longer trips, which I'm excited to know what it does for fuel economy, and also living out of it as well, see what that's like. I'm going to be making lots of videos on that too. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, traveling long periods in this vehicle. I'm going to be keeping this vehicle for quite some time. So I will be doing a bit more of a build on this compared to my Prado. So I will be fitting this out with some goodies. Nothing too crazy on this channel. We often just stick to quite minimal sort of things. You know, well-priced things as well. So budget-minded, but also high-quality items. You know, spend once, spend right, that sort of situation. Do it once, do it right. So that's kind of the motto here on the channel. That's what we do. If you're new here, this is the first time you're watching a video, make sure you're subscribed. Thank you to all the new people that have subscribed. If you made it this far in the video, you know, it's been great to see new people joining the channel, and that's been awesome. And as always, guys, any questions that you have, put them in the comment section. You'll see that I answer every single comment on all of my videos. So please make sure you go over and you put in that comment section anything you want to know about this vehicle. I'm sure I've missed something, or you have a burning question, so make sure you put that in that comment section. I will happily answer that for you. I've got a lot of videos coming out about this vehicle, guys. I'm loving this so far. As you guys know, I love my vehicles. So if there's a video you'd like me to see, a comparison that you want me to do, I know that the Ranger versus Rogue comparison has been very hot topic in the comment section. So, you know, if there's something in particular you wanted me to look at there, I'm happy to do that. I will be making a video on that anyway, but any of your experiences in that in the comment section would obviously help me a lot. I've got so many more videos coming out about this 2023 Rogue, so make sure that you've subscribed and hit the notification bell so that you make sure you haven't missed any videos that are going to be coming up. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you very shortly in the next video.